It's teaching us something new I learned today. And today's day 24, elements in abstract art. I think we only have about a week left. So I've grown so much, learned so much. And so we've moved away from French immersion and now it's more art. So so there's 8 elements in abstract art that I want to talk to y'all about today. And the first one is line, the second one is shape, the third one is space, the fourth one is texture, and there's also repetition, value, emphasis, and color. So, specifically about line art, the lines in abstract art, they're the foundation of art, just in general. And this is the thing that typically expresses the emotions and also just kind of portrays what you want to what you want the feeler to feel and the state of mind that you have. And it also expresses who you are as an individual, especially in abstract art. That's how many people can tell your artwork from other people's artwork, is the line work, because it's kind of like a handwriting, which it's pretty different. Handwriting is typically very different, from varies from one person to another. So that's the same with lines in art, as well as that it lines also portray the depth and the weight of the element, such as if you make a line softer, then the emotion that is portrayed is more airy, versus, or maybe like scare, or like it's more subtle, compared to if there's more, if the line is more thicker, or if it's more jagged, like it's expresses the energy, and it expresses the energy that you want to portray. As well as we have shape, and shape is what is used to divide the picture, the picture. So especially in abstract art, we would use uh geometric shapes, bubbly shapes, to portray the different feelings. So it's kind of like lines. It also expresses emotion as well, and it also helps add interest to the artwork, because it's what your eyes will go towards, is first the lines, then the shape, the overall shape. So you have to think more critically about how you want to portray your lines and shapes, to portray what you're feeling, your emotions. So now that we know that, we also have space, because there's always, specifically, there's either negative or positive space. So negative space is the space between and around objects. And then we have positive space is the object and its place in the environment. So when we do an art piece, we'd want to think about all this to make it flow into each other. Object and place and environment. And as well as texture. So texture, depending on how you make your art piece, especially an abstract, it really depends on if the texture is implied or it's real. So real texture would be like if it was gel, or if there's paint that's caked on. But sometimes, um the type of um medium that we use, we can't actually feel the texture if we actually were to touch it, but you can still imply texture with the brush strokes. The brush strokes that we put onto our piece of paper, or the just how we apply it, the application. And then we also have our repetition, value, emphasis, and color. So our repetition is when we just repeat the lines, the textures, the shapes, the other elements that the other elements in our art. So, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to repeat the elements in the exact same way. Like, it doesn't need to be a replica, but it could be the same. If you're to put a cube, you can put another cube, but it could be smaller, or you could put another cube and it could be bigger, or it could be you can change the texture, or you can change the color. So you keep one element, but you might tweak it in a different value that we have. So it doesn't mean that everything's the same, but it's repeated exactly, not repeated exactly. As well as we have our value, and our value is the is the range of colors. Range of colors from dark to light. So like when if you were to think about a about value, we would kind of think about the let's see. Do you see how there's white all the way to black, the white to black, and this is our grayscale? That is a value compared exactly kind of like how this yellow goes from light to dark. These are our values going vertically. So when we talk about values, it's our range of color from dark to light. And this is important when you have abstract art because can express the mood and the energy. Because if you use lighter colors for example, it can make it feel more bubbly compared to if you were to use very darker values to express the same bubbly feeling. So you have to think about your values when you do abstract art. And also, like, let's skip emphasis for a little bit. And this is also important for color because you kind of want to know a little bit of color theory, because sometimes if you mix colors it might not look as good as if you were to like change the, like, say if I were to use it won't portray the mood, the energy properly. So we typically use complementary colors or a specific wheel of colors to portray what we want to portray. And just yeah, to just express the mood and energy. And I feel like that's basically a lot of the same things with all the other elements in abstract art, is that they all kind of are expressing your mood and energy together. So I'm always saying that the exacts a lot, but it actually is a thing. So we have emphasis, which is our last thing I'm going to talk about, and it's basically your focal point, what you want the viewers to be looking at. So this is the thing that grabs your attention. It's what your eye naturally goes towards. So so that's like the area that's standing out. And one thing about that is that you want your painting to have a focal point. You don't want all of your painting to be the focal point, because it doesn't, it makes the painting feel more flat. So when you have emphasis, it helps make it more interesting to look at. So overall, these are all the elements in abstract art, and hopefully understood what I taught you today. And it was teaching us something new I learned today. Day 24, elements in abstract art. There were 8 to go over, and hopefully You understand that? Have a good rest of your day. Bye.